Hey guys, this is Turok, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing One Piece 1178. By the way, I think there's kind of an echo going on in here. I had to move some of my stuff out of my room over the weekend because I had problems with some of the floorboards and I had to move a lot out to do it. Now it seems to be echoey in here. I'm not sure why, because I didn't really change it. I got a few things moved around I got to re-put back. But it sounds kind of, I can even hear it myself, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Hopefully I don't know. But I apologize in advance on that. And I also know there was some other One Piece stuff that came out over the weekend, the Elbaf trailer and some other one. And I just I couldn't record because I was in a living room area that just wasn't conducive for recording temporarily while I was some of my stuff while I was trying to wait for this to get finished. And anyways, I'll be doing that stuff later this week, the other video reactions. But in this one, we finally got to the point now where the yeah, like that. Where the I keep trying to say Nika, but Luffy and Loki are facing off against Emu in this one, and Emu seems to view these two as his main threat in his bid to continue controlling the world government. Meanwhile, we had the Straw Hats and the other giants doing damage control to quell all the problems that the God Knights caused. We got Zoro, Hiruden, and Doribiraki and others taking out the demon soldiers, which are what I'm referring to as Emus, the one where Emu turned the giants into possessed God's Knights, similar to what he does with the Covenants, but where he forcibly turns them into it using the thing where it looks like that game of I think it's called Go, and we found that with Zoro, when it comes to primarily that like Zoro and the others found they can if they just kill them this possessed form, it's almost like a shell around them, and then it will turn them back. Meanwhile, we found out something's up with Chopper, which doesn't get elaborated here, but it does. It's like it was something I didn't. This was the biggest thing I missed in the last chapter. I didn't understand that Chopper didn't kill that giant when he hit him. They go over that today. It just I saw that Teching. I noticed that. I assume some others did. I'm behind on watching some of the other chapter reviewers I like watching. There's Book and Tropes. She's good. A couple of the ladies and also Grand Line Review and stuff. But they yeah, Chopper. Something's up with Chopper where he didn't have to kill him. He didn't have to go as far as Zoro and the others are doing. But it does look like it's working either way. But that thing with Chopper's a mystery that I wonder, that'll probably not be solved right away, but maybe something special about Chopper and his devil fruit. Because, like, as far as we know, he's got the human fruit. So he started out as a regular reindeer, albeit with a blue nose, and he ate that fruit, and now he can transform in his three forms the way other people can when they eat zones. It's with his full animal form, his hybrid form, and his human form. Fun fact, I kept forgetting this, but when his chibi form is really his hybrid form. When he does that bulky one, the heavy point, I think they call it. When he does heavy point, that's his human form really. He gets this really big, and it's the one where everyone thought he was Sasquatch or Abominable Snowman on Drum Island. Let's get into it. Now we're at the point where there was a part 2 with Chopper. And I thought that was really cool. Again, it was really cool. I didn't realize Monster Point was the same size as Giant. I wonder if Chopper's gotten bigger with his Monster Point. I was rewatching the scene where he first uses that, and I didn't think he was that big, like I said before. But, okay, so now, yeah, Usopp tried to help, Brook from fighting them right before the others came, and then we also got the other group is trying to put out the fire in the library, and we're gonna go around to all these areas in this chapter. So let's get into it. So we got Nidhogg, meaning Loki here, and Luffy facing off against them, and so this chapter is called "Waking from a Nightmare," which is like I'm wondering if that's just a reference to the others being free. Oh, okay, I don't know. I tend not to not be good at following missing some of those things out initially. The others, yeah, we got the others here. They're near the library. Okay, so they're all near the library here, this group. Okay, so that's right. So Luffy brings the others. So yeah, Luffy brings Brook and Usopp over to where these guys are in order to keep them out of the way because Loki's still staring down at Nidhogg. God dang it! I keep saying their other names. At Emu, the fighting Emu. They're about to fight Emu here, and so then Frankie's like, "Oh, do you need backup? Should I come in and help?" And I was thinking, "Oh, I wish he would come and help, but he probably would be out of in the way here, even though he just had this power up a couple chapters ago. I feel like he'll have to practice with that more in order to see what we'll have to and I'll see what else he can if he could be how he would be against someone like Emu, but Luffy looks Luffy. I kept thinking this was the one called Furious, but that was the last chapter. So Luffy here still got a lot hot blooded at the moment because he when he sees his crew members get hurt, it really gets him angry. So it's interesting here too because now you can see his the moments like this that you can see that the passion that comes from this awakening form is able to be diminished a little bit, and Luffy thinks a little more clearly. In this case, though, not really. He's not when he's using his awakening. He's usually more like he's just very nonchalant, and he's laughing a lot. But now when serious stuff is happening, he starts getting focusing there a little better, and he's like, no. So anyways, he says to the others like, no, just stand back, and I'll call you guys if I need help. Besides, I think Loki's gonna get pretty reckless. And Sanji's like, oh, well, coming from you. But I'm glad Luffy says Luffy's still correct here because Loki, as we see now, he's enormous. Like he could shoot because he's shooting the lightning around, and Luffy's the only one who's really immune to that. The others could probably like Luffy. Sanji or Zoro could take a hit from that maybe, but it's like Luffy's actually correct here for once. Like this. Like, let's not have everyone close by to a giant dragon, a super dragon floating around firing laser beams and electric blasts everywhere. So now we get to some stuff here. We get into the action here with Loki versus Emu, and he's still using Gunko's body. And so Emu here starts going off on not a tangent going off, but like a tangent. Speaking, and it's probably like supposed to be like kind of nonchalantly because he looks very unconcerned at facing off against Loki at this point, despite the earlier seeming surprise that he was here and that just the implication that Loki might be a threat to him with this transformation. But he starts saying, I heard some years ago there was a ship of giants was going around at sea, and their captain was even bigger than the rest of them. And they always shrouded themselves in deep mist, and they only attacked government assets whilst remaining unseen. So this is interesting. So this gives us a bit of what happened with Loki when he left 14 years ago from after Harold died. And so I hope that's the one thing we haven't had a flashback of here. We did a huge flashback involving Harold's life and then the stuff how Loki and Harudin's youth, and then we went to the Rock's exploits with his crew, and then his final when he died and he got a Valley incident, and then Harold. Then we went back to Harold and finished his flashback and how it impacted Elbaf, but it never finished off on what Loki did and why he got captured by Shanks. There's something here. I hope that's going to be like elaborated on in a little bit here, because Shanks, that's right, because him and Luffy made a deal a little earlier in this arc to get so if Loki could be Luffy would free Loki. Loki would tell Luffy what he knew about Shanks. So there's something there that's probably hopefully elaborated a little bit on relatively soon. I'm sure it will be sooner or later, but I want to have it sooner. So while Emu's, he's not monologuing. I keep thinking this is similar to monologuing. Loki just fires up one of his electric blasts and is like, no, I'm not wasting any more time with you. I'm just going to destroy you right here and now. And actually, I think he's just scaling. But when I see Loki in these shots, I was thinking Oda should just show his entire mouth. Like that size there looks like what I would picture Kaido was at. I need to look at some more scaling of Kaido. I think Oda's is trying to fit this in a page, and Loki's head really should be a couple sizes bigger. So yeah, Loki fires that electric blast on where Emu was floating there, and then Luffy's coming over like, wait a minute, I wanted to beat the bad guy. Luffy, why can't someone else take the credit once in a while? You got to learn to share, Luffy. This is one of those traits I get a little bit annoyed with Luffy. Like, oh, I got to do it. I'll be the one to do it. And that was one thing. I was rewatching some of Dressrosa a while back, and everyone's saying all the other pirates that became Luffy's allies were all saying, I'll beat Doflamingo. No, I'll do it. No, I'll do it. And it got a little annoying after a while. I watched everyone fighting over that. But I did want to see Loki like really crush Emu here. But they'll both get their chances here though. But Loki's like, crap! I think she escaped. Where did she? She's too tiny for me to hit. So Emu here is floated up. He's probably got the uses of observation hockey, I would assume. Maybe Loki's just kind of slow in this form too. I kind of hope that that's something I never liked when they show in giant. I gotta study if that the reality would exist. Like when they show giant things in film, especially, and they always seem to kind of like move very slowly. Like their size makes them encumbered, not to move well in when it comes to something that's like a giant form. Like that's like Luffy too, and recently Egghead seemed to have a bit of a problem like that. And I don't know how that scale. I would think that at some point there'd be some kind of giant figure that can still move swiftly. It depends, it seems, in this stuff. When it makes something like a kaiju level thing, it always seems to be relatively slow, like that. When it comes to swift movements, like agility. And so while Loki's looking around trying to figure out where Emu has gone to, Emu continues saying, at the same time as these incidents with the giants, a certain giant ship, rumors were spreading far and wide of a massive flying creature, and it could be seen. And now I see how the dots connected. So this is funny too, because we always thought about. I was always wondering if some of those incidents could be Kaido, because when Kaido got introduced, the narrator said, land, sea, or air, Kaido always will win in a one-on-one fight. And then when he found out he can turn into the fish dragon, he also can fly around, so he might be floating around when he was drunk and then going around and causing havoc. But now that Loki's been around for 14 to 6 years ago, so over the course of that would be 8 years, Loki might have been some of those incidents that were being seen as well as Kaido going around causing havoc in places. But Kaido probably would have been on any place that he felt like other than government, pretty much probably other than government places, while Loki, according to the way Emu just said, was only focusing on government places to rain hell on because he was pissed at them for his father's passing and how he died. So Luffy catches up here, and his anger's boiling up, and he's like, I'm gonna make you pay for what you did to Usopp and Brook. And so when he catches up there, Emu leaves Gunko's body and floats out into his kind of. Did he do this? Yeah, it is kind of the same as Saturn. I was thinking he left her body completely, but no, he's still there, and because he was. It is kind of the same. It just looks weirder because when he possessed Saturn, he did it in such a way where like he was still kind of like, it looked like he was still connected to Saturn's body, like more, like she just looks like she's like, as he's doing it, while Saturn's body looked like he was still walking around with it. But he's like he's anchored to it, I guess is the best way to say. So he's pulled himself out in a similar way though. And so he rises up there. This is the same as right when he was fighting Rocks and the others. He rises out there so he can use his powers better, as you're about to see. Luffy's like, wait, what the heck? Something popped out. And Emu goes on saying, if only I could make you vanish off the face of the earth like Rocks did. And so he So he basically, that part is interesting. He doesn't elaborate much more on it, but it's basically saying like he's probably it looks like he's implying like um if I can get rid of you guys now, I'll have no other hurdles or threats to my rule here. So now he pulls out his covenant ability again, his Dome Reversi. So he calls that Diabolical Covenant. Did he say it that way before? Okay, I went back and looked. Yeah, in chapter 1150, right? What is it? Yeah, 150. Yeah, he uses that. She did call it. Emu calls it Diabolical Covenant there when he used it on Dorian Bragi here. So okay, I forgot that was the term he uses before. So I remember the pentagram was the same that he tries to do. I don't remember him using it. I guess I didn't catch it too because I didn't recall if he used it when he fought rocks. But I know about what we're about to see here was similar to where he does the rocks because Emu uses his tentacle arms to like poke at Loki and Luffy to try and transform them like he does with rocks, like he did with rocks before. Oh no, he did say that again too. In some exchange for some measure of thy lifespan. So is he talking about his own lifespan when he does that? In exchange for some measure thou wilt receive. Does he mean he's gonna take away some of their? This is the part I was confused to hear before. And now again with this chapter, Emu talks about in exchange for some measure of thy lifespan. Does that mean? Let me look that up. No, so it sounds like when Emu's saying that, he's saying in thy lifespan, like in exchange for your lifespan, not mine. I'm thinking thy meant he's referring to himself. But no, sacrifice, suck out. So is he like doing something like, I wonder if he's doing something similar to Big Mom, just in the sense that he is saying, yeah, when he's saying thy, I kept thinking it was saying his own. Emu was referring to his own lifespan being taken away to convert and endow that power upon others. But no, he's referring to him taking away a bit of their power. So I was just thinking, is that something like where it's not quite the same? But I was thinking about how Big Mom can take away soul lifespans out of people too. Though there was nothing there, I don't think, with Big Mom to imply that she gains any benefits out of that in terms of expanding her life. But she seemed to have take some of that, when she kept that lifespan for other people, I think she kind of was holding that in some kind of unseen reservoir. And then that was where she was tapping into that to give life to inanimate objects or even to other animals, like that one rabbit she used to go to one of the what do you call it? One of those islands to collect ingredients for her the tea party for Sanji and Pudding's wedding. Anyways, let's go back here. So yeah, she's trying to use the Dome Reversi. So she does the Diabolical Covenant again, the way she did with like Dorian Bragi, and then she also does this thing like she does with rocks. Instead of she did it a little differently where she did the go flip. So she stabs Luffy through the chest, and then she sends the other one to Loki in his head and tries to say, "I'll give you greater strength," and then she's like, "I'll make you guys hate each other." And he pulls out the Dome Reversi and tries to use it on the two of them. But so this is probably gonna be better elaborated in the anime. This would be something where it looks like for a moment here they're like wondering like, hey, is something going on here? But I was a little confused. This is one of those moments where like I do want to see the anime because I was kind of confused here. But yeah, I thought it was still good because Luffy screams, "Oh, this doesn't even hurt," which is also what Rock said. But he started transforming. But no, that's right. Emu still had him pierced, and then he slowly did transform in that moment. But so Luffy's like, "What was that for? That doesn't even hurt." And Loki too, he's probably like shaking his head like, "Ah, what did you do? What is this thing? Get it off of me!" And Emu looks a little shook in here, and he's like, but he also says, as I suspected, they're both. And so something here. This is the most mysterious part of this chapter. Well, there's a couple others that come up, but Emu says something like, "Oh, like he realized he had a feeling that these two would be ones who could resist his Domi Reversi." And now I'm wondering, like, what it is. Like, it's probably a lot more than just like hockey, because Rock seemed to have possessed amazing hockey too, but he still couldn't resist that Domi Reversi, the possession here. And so Luffy starts gearing up to use his one of his Gum Gum attacks, and then Loki's like starts thinking, oh wait a minute, I can't fight him like this. He's too small, and he's talking with Ragnar about that. But so we get a great shot now though of Luffy going at him. So while Emu isn't quick enough to react, he's like probably because he's still so shook by Luffy and Loki resisting his powers. Luffy gets in there with a Dawn Gatling attack and pummels the frig out of Emu. And this is so satisfying the way Oda drew this. I love it. And he's like, but again, this is something where like, I wonder if he's making sure he uses Conqueror's Haki, because like, we saw Emu get cut up before when at God Valley again by Whitebeard and Rocks and the others, but it didn't do anything. So then so after Luffy gets to attacking, Loki's transformed back into human, and he calls out the Ragnar, and I like how Ragnar looks. He transforms into his hammer form, but then he's got the little squirrel face there, and look how big he is there. And then he's like, "Look out, Luffy! I'm gonna get him." And then Luffy's like panicking for a second. Wait a minute. So wait, come on, next page. So we got a great double panel here. So Loki uses his Nibelheim attack again. Like, this is the one I think. Yeah, he just used that a few chapters ago against the one of those apparitions from Killingham that came down to attack them, and he freezes Gunko and Emu together in a huge square, more like rectangle block of ice. So Luffy's like, wait a minute, that's a neat finisher you got. But wait a minute, I wanted to get some more hits in. And then right that happened, Luffy's transformation wears off, and he just falls down there. And that's like the fight here. It's like ended quicker than we thought. And so Loki's standing there next to Emu Gunko frozen, and he's like, I don't know what's in there, but this is the quickest solution. I was just too big before to finish him off, fight him that way. So we're going back to them in a little bit, but now we start going to some of the other people finishing, giants and such, finishing off stuff. So we go to Fisherman Village first, and we get some of the people saying, so we get a lot of the villagers here, and the Elbaf villagers all complaining still. And it's like, I just feel like, God damn it, you guys should be grateful. Some of you were about to lose your children, but no, you're still going to bitch and moan. They're going to putting out fires and stuff. Some of this must have been caused by Loki's attacks as he was defeating Killingham's things. Can't think of the word I said before. You know, like, oh, damn it, Loki, he got rid of the monsters, but now he left our village in disarray. And like, they were destroying it anyways, some of you guys. So it's like, good golly. And then we go to the Huntsman village, and we got people pointing out, oh, so Loki didn't kill King Harold. So they're still commenting how Jarl confessed it or brought it to light. And but isn't it again? Look what he's done to a village, just like he's always done. So they're just a little grumpy. They need to chill out. Like, it's been, how many years has it been since he did this to your village? You enjoyed a long reprieve. Chill out. So then we switch to our Straw Hats, and then we got Lilith here too, and Anami's cheering on Zeus as he's trying to put out the fires near the library, and we got Jinbei's helping out again. He's using his shoulder throw ability, and Lilith is like trying her best with her machines that she had to those things that suck up the fires or however that worked before. So everything's starting to calm down a bit here. So we get to the Western Village group, and we got Bragi, Dory, Stevison, and Hiruden, and they were fighting with all their possessed comrades there, and they're like saying, "Is it all over?" And there's someone else, I think it's Hiruden. He reiterates, "Yeah, look, well, we flip them back to white. It's success. But if they get back up, it wasn't enough." And we got some of the other people, some of the giants are like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Captain, I was possessed by some wicked urge." And Dory and Bragi are like, "It's all right. We had the same. We know what happened. That's why we're just glad you're back with us." And there's still some here, though. We got some of them still getting back up, and then they're still giving a little. They have a lot of fight in them, obviously. So some of the others, as these ones are getting back up, so you can see here that this is starting to put a bit of a. The others are having I don't know if Zoro looks like maybe even a little bit. The others are getting a little winded fighting all these things and bringing them down, and so the other ones are getting back up, and Zoro's like, "I'll handle this." But as that happens, Chopper runs in here, and he starts. This is where we see this thing with his ability, some ability we didn't know he had. He comes behind a couple of these giants that are facing off against our other friends, and he just whacks them in the back. It looks like he just kind of slaps them, and we see the spirits just come right out, and then they flip over and return to normal, and Chopper's like, "Hey Zoro, look, hi," and Zoro and the others like, "Wait a minute, what the hell did you do?" And Chopper's like, "I don't know, but whenever I keep hitting the other ones, I'm able to just cure them of their demonic power." And I should go up here. Yeah, you can see he just kind of slaps them there, and the spirits look like little Oni type things like Oda likes to draw. And Zoro's just like, is that because you're such a good doctor? I mean, that's a simpler way to think about it, but there's something here. It's probably his devil fruit. Something there we're not aware of. This is very interesting. Oda's throwing in something interesting there now with Chopper. I like how he's keeping the other characters relevant with some unknown stuff we didn't know they could do. That was something too. When Nami got Zeus, I wasn't expecting that where she was going to get another power. She had an improved weather power since the time skip, and now she's got Zeus on her side too. And it's just like now, and then Sanji with his using the suit he got from his family, but though he doesn't like it. And so the other Dory and Bragi, it's like, maybe that's it, whatever. And it's like, job well done. They don't care, just as long as it's helping them out to get their comrades back. And so then Hiruden's like, okay, that's great, but we got to check elsewhere now. So we get a little pan overs of other areas. And so we see other people are still like, oh, the enemies are gone, but we still got to deal with a lot of these fires. So everyone's still working together to stop that, because the fire is the number one thing too they got to be concerned about, because of their because they're living on a giant ass tree, and it's very dry. It must be very dry there too. That's something too. They might need to they need to get Nami to come there, or have the Weatherian people come there and add more humidity now. Then so you probably won't have to worry about that as much. And so we just get a lot of pan overs of other stuff going on there. There's a lot of fire there, and Nami's gonna have to maybe pull. I wonder if Nami could pull like ocean water up there. Or no, Jinbei could. What if Jinbei could feed water up to there, direct it to Nami, and then they can make Zeus like an enormous cloud. Like he's already pretty big, but like it looks like they have to expand his size. I feel like they could do that, but it probably would take time. So now we get to something else interesting too. We go to the Owl Library and we see Robin and Saul inside there, and the entire place is all damaged from the fire, but all the books are gone. And so they're both perplexed by this. And it's interesting. What's interesting about this is Saul, who must have knows as Biblo. He says like, I don't see Biblo here either. Like they're just gone. And Robin points out like, okay, did he remove all the books? Can he do that? Like what's going on here? And he doesn't know. They don't elaborate on that. So somehow Biblo must have some ability to like control where all the books go. Did he like teleport them? And they don't show us this chapter what it is that caused that. He's just gone. And yeah, that was something we all were concerned about. What happened to the fire? We didn't see Biblo for the longest time here. We didn't know what was going to happen here. This was like, last time we saw Biblo was like, what, 40 chapters ago? So, I don't know how to answer that. Maybe, like, where did this owl even come from? There was, like, very little information on him from the beginning, too. So, it's like, okay. So, now we go to the other, we go to Sanji and Frankie. So anyways, Sanji and him are like saying, well, it looks like once we got up here, everything didn't take that long. But Frankie then points out like, well, we were only fighting a handful of them, so maybe we just got lucky that they didn't send more of them here. Wait, but then he's also saying, let's see, if anything, they were punching above their weight. I guess he's kind of saying like, well, luckily, I think they just were a little out of their depths fighting the giants of Elbaf as well. I mean, also, and then now the question here too is, what are they going to do with these, the other knights? I don't think, Emu didn't send, I don't know if Emu, because Emu's, anyways, I'll get to it in a minute, but Emu's frozen at the moment, but the others, they captured, Killingham here, and then, he's like saying, wait, what happened to Great Emu? And so we're going to get to that now, or in a minute. So first we go to, see there. So we go back outside the village with Loki and the others. First we go to Summers, excuse me. So Summers is still trying to get himself back together. Right, that was, it was Luffy that punched him out in the other chapter. So he's all broken up here. And so he's just trying to reassemble some of himself. So he must have successfully used some of Conqueror's Haki in that attack, and it worked to break apart Summer. So we get a small shot of him just reassembling himself here. So now we go back to Luffy and Loki, and Luffy's like saying, does anyone got any food? Help me. And Loki's like, just go to the village then. I don't have any food here. And he's like, why do you look like that now? And this is the spot here. So behind them, there is Gunko and Emu, and then we just get the shot where Emu just like is able to dissipate out of the ice, and then he just leaves. And I don't even think they realize it in this chapter. And now we get to the end here, and he just like he goes back to Marijwa there, and he just sits there for a moment, and he's like, and he communicates to the elders, and he's like, and they're like, oh yeah, Emu, what's going on? And he ends saying, I will be leaving the Holy Land for a while. And the chapter just ends right there. And yeah, that was a really fast chapter. So the main thing here that's bugging me is like, Emu did get overwhelmed by Luffy and Loki, but now the way he's acting here, I'm wondering if like, so he realizes that, and I'm thinking, okay, is he gonna find a way to get a power up to deal with them? What kind of trump card would he have to deal with them? It's concerning to me that he doesn't seem scared of them per se. Like he's just like got that typical energy, which like, oh, the bad guys were like, oh, I figured this might happen someday, so now I'll go do this thing, and then I'll be able to deal with them. So, yeah, there's something there. He's like, I'm thinking he's going to go somewhere and like pull out something. He's going to go find his Excalibur or something like that. That's going to be his trump card to deal with them. Because that was just like too easy for this. And it's also surprising to know how well I was just wondering if like he was just not even really trying, and maybe he couldn't, because when he fought against rocks, he was able. Well, no, he relied on transforming him, I guess. So, yeah, the fact that he couldn't with them now is like concerning that concerning how he's like, okay, what does he do next to defeat them? Because it was like initially it looks like an easy victory for them. It's like, okay, so he, what does he, what can he do? What else is? Because we still don't understand much about him. Come on. So now I'm just wondering though then too, does that mean this arc is over here? What's going to be the follow of this now? This went on for this actually felt shorter than it really is as far as the chapters. Like it went on for I think we're 52 chapters in or so, and so but it's like I expected a bit more of a battle there, but Oda always has a decent amount of fallout, like these epilogue chapters, and it's they're like what will be done now that will so will we see some of the other stuff that happened with Bartolomeo and other stuff with the Revolutionary Army. And hopefully we'll get that stuff with Loki, like him explaining. So and then now we're gonna have to see what. Hopefully, if this is the other thing too is like, is this always? That's the other thing with Emu. Is he gonna come back right now and do something, or is there gonna be like one more phase of this battle? Is this gonna be like the Straw Hats are gonna leave here? Cause I expected a bit more devastation than this. The stuff that happened got out of control, but I was thinking we still haven't even seen that other realm above there with the Elbaf. This is the Sun realm, right? Or then I forget. There's a third one at the top that we never saw. We have not seen yet, and I'm wondering what that's going to be about. If that's going to be impactful to the story, that is. And yeah, this just went by so fast. I'm like, I don't think there's a break next week either, so it'll be interesting to see that we don't have to wait long to see what's going to happen here. Yeah, anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.